this is the sort of thing that almost keeps me awake at night. It drives me absolutely nuts. People playing loud music on trains. We loosely touched on it yesterday on the programme, or Jonathan touched on it yesterday a little bit. But today we learned that London commuters are being told to keep their music to themselves in a new campaign that hits the rails today. Posters on the Elizabeth line warn passengers not to blast tunes or use speakerphone and irritate fellow travellers. I've often wondered why that's not a standard thing that sits there on every carriage saying, stick your headphones on. Both the Lib Dems and Conservatives are demanding tougher fines for so-called headphone dodgers, ruining the journey for everyone. Let's speak with Tom Jones, Conservative commentator and Conservative councillor for Scotland and Lower Wensleydale. Good to have you on again, Tom.
Thanks for having me.
And, you know, you are allowed to wear headphones during an interview, of course, because you need them when we're chatting, and that's great, but there are times and places where it should be a given that a pair of headphones are needed, certainly when you're sitting on a train listening to, you know, whatever your choice of music or TV programme might be.
Or in most cases, it seems to be tinny TikToks. You know,
Yes.
I think one of the reasons this irritates people so much is it only takes one person to kind of shrug off the implicit rules that keep shared spaces civil.
Yeah.
And then it invites other people to do the same. You know, the piece of our public spaces is very loosely woven, and it only takes a tug or two for it all to unravel. And the kind of shared privacy that makes being collected in public spaces will be replaced by, you know, the imposition of the will of the loudest, the least considerate will be imposed upon everyone else.
When it comes to humans doing weird stuff, and I wrote a book on this once called 67 People I'd Like to Slap. Not genuinely, but it was based on, you know, metaphorically, people that just do things that send you round the flipping bend and up the wall simultaneously. You do wonder where these people were when the memo went out. I mean, everybody knows, I said this earlier, Tom, that if you said to a group of mates in the pub, name 5 things that really annoy you in life, it wouldn't take long before someone said, oh, somebody playing music or TikTok videos loud on their phone. That would be right up there. So who are the people that didn't see the memo?
So there's been actually no polling about what this is. I personally think it's a confluence of factors. I think COVID has really warped young people's understanding of privacy, because they have spent less time in public spaces, more time in private spaces thanks to lockdown. I think it's partially the result of an aging society. I think, you know, people who getting older maybe would have listened to it, you know, just quite quietly, are now having to listen to it a little bit louder because they're getting older. Also, people not understanding tech, and I think there is probably a demographic issue here with a larger percentage of people from outside the West who don't share our kind of Western privacy norms.
It could be that, but even the things of people speaking on the telephone. I'm going to get on a train in about half an hour's time, and there'll be one person on that carriage having a conversation on a phone, not a FaceTime. That's a whole other level of annoyance, but at the kind of volume they would speak if they were at home on their own. Now, I always think that there's a point, you know, if I'm in the supermarket, for example, where it's far more spacious and my phone goes, mostly I won't answer it, but if I do answer it, I'm straight away in whisper mode. You know, I'm also almost diving behind the broccoli so that nobody's going to hear me. Why would I want to be articulating 50% of a phone conversation in a public place? And yet some of these people in a crowded train will happily sit there and talk about the deal they've done that day, or, you know, why Pam, the sales rep, has quit, and have very loud and often quite animated conversations. These aren't all kids. These are full-blown adults like you and I. And yet, for some reason, again, they also didn't get the memo.
I know, it's absolutely crazy. It's a bizarre phenomenon. It's affecting a lot more of us now. Some recent Savanta polling said that I think 40% of train and bus passengers say they've encountered others playing loud music, either frequently or occasionally. So it is a creeping social phenomenon. And so I think this week the Lib Dems and the Conservatives have both said, let's have £1,000 on the spot fines for these people, which I think is a good idea, apart from it's missing a naught.
That's absolutely right. Or in some case, it might be missing 3 noughts. But yeah, I think you're onto something there. Listen, great to have you on with us, Tom. Appreciate your time. Tom Jones, Conservative commentator and counsellor.